There is a silence that speaks louder than words. Sometimes the deepest emotions are not expressed through messages, calls, or conversations. They live quietly in memories. Many people believe that when a woman becomes silent, it means she has moved on. But silence is not always the end of a story. Sometimes silence is where the strongest feelings hide. A woman does not forget meaningful experiences as easily. When she invests emotionally, she connects memories with feelings, moments with meaning, and words with emotions. Even after time passes, certain memories remain alive. Not because she is weak, but because she feels deeply. Emotional memory is powerful, and when someone touches her heart in a real way, that connection leaves a lasting mark. So sometimes she still thinks about you not because she wants to return, but because you were once important. You were once part of her world. The mind remembers moments, the conversations, the laughter, the difficult days, and the growth that happened together. Even if she never speaks about it, those memories exist quietly. Silence does not always mean absence of emotion. Often silence is self-protection. A woman may choose not to reach out because she is protecting her peace. She may stay quiet because she has learned that not every feeling needs to be spoken. She understands that sometimes distance is healthier than contact. Another reason she may still think about you is emotional closure. When a connection ends without clear understanding, the mind continues searching for answers. Questions remain: what went wrong? What could have been different? What lessons were learned? These thoughts come and go, not as pain, but as reflection. Women often process emotions internally, while others may express everything openly. She may think deeply before speaking. This inner world is rich with thoughts and reflections. Just because she is silent does not mean she has erased the past. Sometimes she remembers the version of herself that existed when she was with you. People grow and change through relationships. Certain experiences shape confidence, maturity, and understanding. When she looks back, she may not only remember you, she remembers who she was at that time. Another truth is that emotional bonds do not disappear instantly. Real connections fade slowly. Over time, the intensity becomes softer, but the meaning remains. The heart does not operate like a switch that can be turned off overnight. And sometimes she thinks about you simply because humans remember meaningful stories. Life is a collection of chapters. Some chapters close, but they are never deleted. They remain part of the journey. But thinking about someone is not the same as wanting them back. Memories are not always invitations. Silence can be acceptance. Silence can be strength. Silence can mean she has learned to move forward while still respecting the past. The real reason she still thinks about you is not mystery. It is humanity. Real emotions leave real traces. Genuine moments create lasting impressions. When something was real, it cannot be completely forgotten. And maybe the biggest truth is this: when someone once mattered, a small part of them always remains in memory. Not as regret, not as longing, but as a quiet reminder of a chapter that helped shape the person she became. Silence does not always mean the story ended badly. Sometimes it simply means the story has been understood. Many people misunderstand silence, and they often assume that when a woman stops talking, stops texting, or stops asking about you, it means she has forgotten everything. But silence and forgetting are two completely different things. Silence is often misunderstood because people expect emotions to always be loud and visible, but the deepest feelings are often quiet and hidden. Just because she is no longer expressing her thoughts does not mean the memories have disappeared. In reality, silence can sometimes mean that the memories are still there, just stored deeper inside her mind. When a woman connects emotionally, she does not treat experiences like temporary moments that can easily be erased. Emotional experiences become part of her inner world. She remembers the details, the conversations, the way she felt during certain moments, and the lessons she learned along the way. These memories do not simply vanish because time has passed. Even if she moves forward in life, the mind naturally keeps meaningful experiences stored in memory. Silence does not mean those memories are gone. It only means she has chosen not to express them. Sometimes silence is a conscious decision. She may decide not to talk because speaking again could reopen old emotions. She may understand that reaching out might create confusion or unnecessary pain. Instead of reacting emotionally, she chooses to stay quiet and protect her peace. This kind of silence is not coldness, it is emotional maturity. She understands that not every thought needs to be shared and not every memory needs to be revisited. There are also moments when silence comes from acceptance. She may have accepted that the past cannot be changed. She may understand that some relationships belong to a different chapter of life. Acceptance does not erase memories. It simply allows her to live without being controlled by them. She remembers without needing to relive everything again. This quiet acceptance is often mistaken for forgetting, but in reality, it is a sign of growth. Another important truth is that memories are connected to emotions. Certain songs, places, or situations can remind her of moments that once mattered. Even after a long time, small things can bring back familiar thoughts. These reminders do not always bring sadness. Sometimes they bring calm reflection. The mind naturally connects past experiences with present thoughts. Silence does not stop these memories from existing. Silence can also come from strength. It takes emotional strength to move forward without constantly looking back. Instead of explaining everything, she allows time to create distance. Instead of seeking attention, she focuses on her own life. This does not mean she has erased the past. It means she has learned to live without being controlled by it. Many people believe that if someone truly remembers you, they will always reach out. But this is not always true. Sometimes remembering happens quietly. Thoughts appear and disappear without any action. A person can remember and still choose not to speak. This quiet remembering is part of human nature. In the end, silence should never be confused with forgetting. Silence simply means that emotions are being handled privately. It means memories exist without needing expression. A woman may move forward, grow stronger, and build a new life, but meaningful memories remain part of her story. Silence does not erase the past. It only hides it behind calm and understanding. An emotional connection is not something that disappears quickly. And this is one of the real reasons a woman may still think about you even if she remains silent. When a woman forms a genuine emotional bond, it goes deeper than simple attraction or temporary feelings. Emotional connection becomes part of her inner experience, and once something becomes meaningful to her heart, it is not easily forgotten. Time may reduce the intensity of emotions, but the meaning behind those emotions often stays alive for a long time. Women often build connections through shared experiences, conversations, trust, and emotional understanding. These small moments create a sense of closeness that becomes difficult to erase. It is not always the big events that stay in her memory. Sometimes it is the simple things, the way you spoke to her, the way you listened, the small acts of care and attention. These moments create emotional depth, and emotional depth leaves lasting impressions. Even when life moves forward, the mind remembers what once felt real and important. A deep emotional connection also creates a sense of familiarity. When two people spend meaningful time together, they learn each other's habits, thoughts, and personalities. This familiarity becomes comfortable and natural. After the connection ends, the absence of that familiarity can still be felt. Even if she adapts to a new routine, the memory of that emotional closeness does not disappear instantly. The heart often remembers what once felt safe and meaningful. Another reason emotional connections last long is because emotions are tied to personal growth. Relationships often teach lessons about trust, patience, communication, and self-understanding. When she looks back, She may remember not only the person, but also the growth that happened during that time. Certain relationships help people become stronger, wiser, and more aware of themselves. Because of this, emotional connections become part of personal history. They are remembered as experiences that shaped who she became. It is important to understand that lasting emotional connection does not always mean she is still emotionally attached in the same way. Feelings change and evolve with time. What was once intense may become calm and distant. But calm feelings do not mean empty feelings. The connection may no longer control her emotions, yet it still exists as a meaningful memory. This quiet emotional presence is often misunderstood as lingering attachment, when in reality it is simply the natural result of having shared something real. Emotional bonds also tend to fade slowly rather than disappear suddenly. The mind gradually adjusts to change, but meaningful connections leave gentle traces behind. Sometimes a memory appears unexpectedly and then disappears just as quietly. These moments of remembering do not always carry strong emotion. Sometimes they are simply reflections of the past. Another important truth is that genuine emotional connection creates respect. Even if a relationship ends, the meaning of what once existed does not automatically lose its value. A woman may still think about you because the connection once mattered. Remembering does not mean she is holding on. It means she acknowledges that something real existed. In the end, emotional connections last long because they are built on real experiences and real feelings. When something touches the heart in a genuine way, it becomes part of memory. Even silence cannot erase the impact of a true connection because meaningful emotions leave impressions that remain quietly present over time. One of the biggest misunderstandings in relationships is the belief that if a woman still thinks about you, it means she wants to come back. Many people assume that memories are a sign of unfinished love, but this is not always true. Thinking about someone and wanting them back are two very different things. A woman can remember the past, reflect on shared experiences, and still have no desire to restart the relationship. Memory and desire do not always move in the same direction, and understanding this difference helps explain why she may stay silent even when thoughts of you occasionally appear in her mind. Human memory works in a natural and automatic way. When someone has been an important part of life, the mind does not simply erase that person. Certain situations, places, or even random moments can bring back familiar thoughts. These memories can appear quietly without strong emotions attached to them. She might remember a conversation, a laugh, or a difficult time you went through together, but remembering these things does not mean she wants to return to that chapter of her life. It simply means that the past existed and meaningful experiences leave impressions that stay in memory. Sometimes she thinks about you as part of reflection and learning. Every relationship teaches lessons about communication, trust, boundaries, and emotional strength. Looking back at the past can help her understand how much she has grown. She may realize what worked and what did not work, what made her happy and what caused stress. These reflections are not signs of longing, they are signs of maturity. Growth often requires looking back in order to move forward with greater understanding. Another reason she may think about you without wanting you back is emotional closure. Not every relationship ends with perfect understanding. Sometimes questions remain unanswered and the mind naturally tries to make sense of what happened. Over time, she may revisit those thoughts, not because she wants to reconnect, because she wants clarity inside herself. Once clarity is found, the thoughts become calmer and less frequent. This process is about inner peace, not reunion. It is also important to understand that people can appreciate the past without wanting to relive it. A woman may recognize that certain moments were meaningful while also understanding that the relationship is no longer right for her life. She may respect what once existed while accepting that the future belongs in a different direction. This balance between respect and distance is often a sign of emotional strength. Silence often shows this distinction clearly. If she truly wanted to come back, she would usually find a way to reconnect. Instead, she may choose to keep her thoughts private. This quiet distance shows that while memories exist, her decision to move forward remains firm. Silence can be a sign that she has made peace with the past and no longer feels the need to return. Sometimes people confuse nostalgia with love. Nostalgia is simply the mind remembering moments that once felt meaningful. It does not automatically mean those moments should happen again. A woman can feel calm when remembering the past while still being certain that her present life is different now. In the end, thinking about you does not automatically mean she wants you back. Memories are part of being human, and meaningful experiences naturally stay in the mind. Woman may reflect quietly, learn from the past, and still choose a different future. Remembering is natural, but moving forward is a choice, and sometimes silence is the clearest sign that she has already made that choice. Many people see silence as weakness, rejection, or emotional distance, but in reality, silence is often a sign of inner strength. When a woman chooses silence after an emotional connection, it does not always mean she has nothing to say. Sometimes it means she has learned that peace is more valuable than explanation. Silence can reflect self-control, emotional maturity, and the ability to move forward without creating unnecessary conflict. It takes strength to remain quiet when emotions could easily push someone to speak. In emotional situations, reacting quickly is easy, but controlling reactions requires discipline. A woman who chooses silence may understand that speaking it again could reopen old wounds or create confusion. Instead of repeating conversations that lead nowhere, she protects her emotional balance by stepping back. This decision is not made out of coldness. It is made out of awareness. She recognizes that not every feeling needs to be expressed, and not every situation needs another discussion. This quiet control shows strength because it requires patience and self-understanding. Silence can also be a form of self-respect. When a woman realizes that a situation is no longer healthy or meaningful for her life, she may choose distance instead of drama. Rather than trying to force attention or seek validation, she focuses on her own growth. This type of silence shows that she values her time and emotional energy. She understands that constantly revisiting the past can slow down personal progress. By staying quiet, she gives herself space to grow into a stronger version of herself. Another reason silence reflects strength is because it shows emotional independence. A woman who depends heavily on constant communication often finds it difficult to stay quiet, but a strong woman learns how to stand on her own emotionally. She learns how to manage her thoughts without needing reassurance from others. Silence becomes a way of proving to herself that she can move forward with confidence. Even if memories exist, she does not allow them to control her actions. Silence also requires courage. Speaking sometimes brings immediate comfort, but silence requires facing emotions alone. Instead of expressing everything outwardly, she processes her feelings internally. This inner processing helps her understand herself better. Over time, silence helps transform emotional pain into emotional wisdom. What once felt overwhelming becomes something she can understand calmly. This transformation does not happen instantly. It happens quietly through reflection and patience. Sometimes silence protects dignity. Explaining feelings repeatedly to someone who may not understand can become exhausting. Instead of trying to be understood again and again, she may choose quiet acceptance. This choice protects her emotional dignity and prevents unnecessary disappointment. Silence allows her to maintain respect for herself while still respecting the past. Silence can also represent closure. When a woman has accepted what happened, she no longer feels the need to explain everything. She understands that some stories end without perfect answers. Instead of searching for more conversations, she allows the chapter to close naturally. This peaceful acceptance is a form of strength because it shows she is no longer dependent on the past for emotional stability. In the end, silence is often misunderstood because it looks simple from the outside, but it is complex on the inside. Behind silence, there can be reflection, acceptance, growth, and self-control. A woman who chooses silence is not always forgetting or running away. Often she is standing strong in her decision to protect her peace and move forward with dignity. Silence is not emptiness. It is strength expressed quietly through calm and understanding. In the end, the real reason she still thinks about you, even if she is silent, is not complicated or mysterious. It is simply the nature of genuine emotions and meaningful experiences. When a woman forms a real emotional connection, the memories do not disappear overnight. They remain quietly in the background, not as a sign that she wants to return, but as a reminder of a chapter that once mattered. Silence does not mean the story was meaningless, and it does not always mean she has forgotten. Sometimes silence is just proof that she has learned, grown, and moved forward in her own way. Understanding female psychology means understanding that emotions are not always expressed openly. A woman may carry memories without speaking about them, reflect without reaching out, and remember without wanting to relive the past. Her silence often shows emotional depth, maturity, and self-control rather than confusion or weakness. The quiet distance she keeps is often a way of protecting her peace while respecting what once existed. The truth is simple. Meaningful connections leave lasting impressions. She may think about you from time to time, not with regret or longing, but with calm understanding. The past becomes part of personal growth, and memories become part of the journey. Silence does not erase the meaning of what happened. It only shows that life has moved forward. Sometimes the strongest emotions are not the ones that are spoken loudly, but the ones that remain quiet and understood. And sometimes silence is not the end of the story. It is simply the sign that the story has found its place in the past.